big one. He's got it. Wrong way. Yeah! Woo! Action! We've said that all week.
Oh no, we've never done that.
Because I'm fishing. I didn't have a bite for a little bit, and he goes, "Gosh." I go, "What?" He goes, "We need some action." I go, "Action!" And like, dude, honestly, like 30 seconds. He's like, so the whole day, the whole week, him and I were going, "Action!" I'm like, "All right, here we go."
All right, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready.
Action!
The 2018 FLW Tour season has come to a close here on Lake St. Clair. Chad Grigsby, you got win number 2 in your career. Ended the season strong, qualified for the Forest Wood Cup. Life's pretty good right now.
Yeah, we had a pretty good week. Worked real hard to get here, but it was honestly a real awesome week, and you know, I love Lake St. Clair, and it was just fun to be here.
We're back home basically for you, even though you live in Minnesota now. This is where you've spent a lot of time catching fish.
Yep, I sure have. Had a lot of local tournaments and, you know, big tournaments up here.
Well, let's get back out on the water one more time before you get to point that truck back towards Minnesota. See if we can't learn a thing about catching big old smallmouths.
That'll work. Let's go get it done. Man, I love saying that. I would need to be a director or something.
You
Is
should.
that who says it? Is the director? Yes!
Chill's like,
action!
Here we go. All right, Chad, we're out here on St. Clair, fishing around. Now, we're not in the juice. You fished like way down on the South Shore in Canada. We're not running that far. You got place to be, I got place to be, and there's literally smallmouths all over the place.
There is. I mean, this lake has them. And the thing to win a tournament, you have to find where the bigger fish are, obviously, because the more you have, the better your odds are of winning.
Makes sense.
So, but literally, you can almost stop anywhere on this lake and catch a bass. It's so crazy how the population of bass in this lake, but you have to find where the big ones are. And we could catch a 5-pounder right here. I don't know. We're going to find out.
We, throughout the week, saw, I mean, there was a lot of attention down where, you know, Dylan Hayes, Brad Knight, you were kind of all in the same area. Yep. There were a lot of guys in the top 30 even that were stretched across that whole South Shore. There are a lot of guys catching fish from everywhere else, but what about that area down there made it so juicy, basically?
That's where I always fish when I come here. I mean, I just spent most of my time down there. I did go around the whole lake during practice, but it's got a lot of history down there. The South Shore is notorious for giant smallmouth, and the problem is it's the South Shore, but it's like, you know, 20 miles long.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of intimidating if you've never been here before, but if you know what to look for, and I actually found the spot driving, and a buddy of mine always said, he's a great smallmouth fisherman, he said, if you're ever on St. Clair, always watch your graph. If you're running across the lake, watch your graph. If something's different, if there's a little high spot, there'll be fish on it. And I was driving around, and I saw grass on my graph, and I shut down, and like my third cast I caught a 4-pounder, and then I caught 3, and then it was like, honestly, I was just driving around and saw the grass and stopped and started fishing, and I didn't know how special the spot really was, because I wasn't going to see how many I could catch during practice, but I hit it like at 10 o'clock. I had 2 or 3 other spots, and by like 10 o'clock I kind of milled over there. Other guys had found the stuff out where I was the first and second day. I didn't really feel it. I didn't think it was that great. And I kind of milled over to where I first had fished, and I caught a big one. Then my co-angler caught a big one. Then we caught another one. Then I kind of had it all to myself because the group was still out there, and I had made my way away from them. And they were far enough away they couldn't see really if I was catching them, and everybody's catching them. You don't know if they're big or not because it's Lake St. Clair. Or
it could be a catfish. It could be, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you catch too.
Muskie, walleye, drum, you know, this place has got them all. Yes, but I didn't realize how special it was until that first day when I had like almost 26, and then the second day I had almost the same weight, and it's I mean, I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and it's one of those deals that it doesn't happen very often. And,
Right.
And I don't know if it'll ever happen again.
You said there was a lot of bait in there too, and I mean, I guess is that perch, gobies?
They're alewives.
Alewives,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what a lot of them were, and there's a lot of perch too, and big perch. A lot of the big ones that we were catching would spit up perch, big perch, like 7,
I did
8
see
inch.
a few floating around.
Yeah.
Like after you'd catch a fish, they'd come
Yep.
downwind.
Yep, they're 6, 7 inches long. I mean, well, these bass are 5 and 6 pounds, so
They can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but the stuff I was marking was alewives.
You're throwing the tube currently. Give me the rundown on your setup for it and what that tube is and the head and all that good stuff.
Most guys up here, and I did for years and years and years, throw a tube on a spinning reel. I threw it on a bait caster. I got a 7.6 St. Croix. It's basically a medium action flipping stick. It's a 7.6 medium heavy, but if you're using a spinning rod to crack a tube, it's got a lot of tip. Now, this doesn't have much tip. It's pretty stiff, and I can just do that, and that bait is actually coming up, well, from here to here. So how far is that? 7, 8 feet. So if I just hop, 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 so I just moved from here to here.
Yeah.
That bait's shooting off the bottom. People don't realize it. I had a question or something on my Facebook or somebody, and asked, they thought I was working that tube like a worm, hopping a worm, just how you just jig a worm, and I'm hopping it.
With each stroke, it just keeps
Yeah,
hopping.
and that's, if you've ever seen video of a crayfish and a smallmouth, smallmouth, I swear they're super cool. They kind of play with their.
Yeah.
So I did a show with Kim Stricker, and he's from here, and he dives under the water during the fishing show. So he caught a crayfish, and the smallmouth are super curious, and they come up to him while he's under the water. And he threw the crayfish, and they shoot up, and the smallmouth will get it, and then blow it out, and it shoots up towards I don't know why it goes up, but the crayfish will squirt, it'll go up towards the surface, and the smallmouth will come up and get it, and then he would blow it out again, and then it would go up. So this action is looking like that crayfish shooting out of the grass or around rocks or whatever. So that's why I used and it's easier. It was easier for me. It's not as strenuous as ripping a spinning rod, and I got it on 10-pound line, so it's not anything heavy. I'm throwing a Venom tube. It's a green pumpkin gold. It's pretty standard out here. It's not a big secret.
Right.
But I'm throwing a 3/4 ounce head.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm moving it fast up, but it also goes fast back down. So
gotcha.
Hop up, fall back down, hop up. It's like if you can envision a crayfish scooting up, and then he rests a little bit and then he scoots. And that's, if something goes by him like that, I mean, they just can't resist it. So that was a big key. And I caught my biggest bass. I caught a 6.5 on the tube. The other bait I was throwing was the Dual Realis spy bait. It was the 80. Now they make a 90, which is a little bit bigger. The alewives out here, they're not real big, and I don't know if they would have bit the 90, but I was catching them on that, so I didn't. That's just the one I was throwing was the 80.
The little one. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of it had a blue back and a little chartreuse on the side, and I mean it was pretty good.
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean they really liked it.
Did you throw that? You had braid on your main line.
Yep. On my loose reel, I have braid, a 10-pound braid, and then a 8-pound leader, fluorocarbon leader, about 10, 15 feet long. Just so it is super clear out here, and you could probably get away with throwing straight braid using a moving bait, but I'd rather not take the chance.
Sure.
So, and
confidence is a good thing.
Yeah, and the knots I tie, I don't have any worrying about breaking it off or anything like that. So, yeah, but the Dual Realis spy bait was definitely, it was probably 60% of my fish came on that, maybe even 70.
Dang.
And definitely 90% of the big ones. I think all my big ones, but I had a 6.5 on a tube the second day. Other than that, all my big ones came on the spy bait. And I just think it's something that they haven't seen that much out here. I mean, when a new bait comes out, it's been out for a while, but a lot of guys aren't throwing it yet. Now, I'm sure I let the cat out of the bag.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. I already made my money, so I don't care. But it's something new, and it's, you know, a lot of guys aren't throwing it like a tube they've seen forever, and it still works. But I just think when those really good new baits come out, in the right conditions, they work really well.
If it'd been blowing every day,
I probably wouldn't have caught anything.
We probably wouldn't even be talking about that.
I'd just be about a tube and a drop shot, probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe a jerk bait, or, you know. But yeah, it's pretty awesome when it slicked off and you'd throw that and just count it down to 12 and slowly wind it in and hang on.
Gosh.
Because you could see where the line of the bait fish were, and I wanted to be under that line. They were typically about 10 is about as far down they went. So I'd count down 12, 14, you know, whatever. I never do 13 because it's bad luck. So you know that. So yeah, I'd count it down, and then it's basically just a slow, steady retrieve. But I also hear a lot of guys saying, "Oh, I don't like throwing that thing. I lose every single one I catch." That's because they have the wrong rod.
Okay.
So I have a St. Croix 7.6 medium light. It's got a super fast tip. So I can throw it a long ways because the tip's so light, but it's 7.6, so it's really long. And when you get a bite, you just reel. I mean, you pull and reel, just not super hard, but it has so much tip, it doesn't pull those hooks out. They're real small hooks on it because it's a real small bait.
You basically kind of treat it like a crankbait.
Yeah.
Treble hooks, you need that soft rod to help absorb.
Like a crankbait, but even softer.
Gotcha.
Because it does have real small hooks, but it seemed like if they would hit it really hard, I wouldn't land them. Like, it didn't matter what I had. Because I think they were just, I don't know if they were just hitting it with their mouth shut or, you know. But the last day, I would be reeling, and if the line would go slack, that means he came from behind and pushed it towards me. So he's got it. And I knew every time that happened, that I was going to get him, especially with that rod and with the tip. And I mean, it takes a long time to get them in when you have that real, you know. And I've got, like I said a few times on live, I got all day.
Yeah, you're in no rush.
I'll take an hour to catch a 5.5 pounder.
For sure.
You know, it doesn't do you any good if you had him bite and you try to horse him in and he comes off. So I just take my time and I back reel and I'll follow him around, and they finally just get tired and they don't hardly jump. And then when you get them in the net, they just lay there and let you take the hooks out. And so yeah, that was basically my 1-2 punch, and it was all about conditions. So if it was windy, I would pick up the tube, and when it would slick off, the spy bait would shine. I mean, and it was just, you just had to pick and figure out, you know, when the wind's gonna blow and when it's gonna lay down. And when it did, I'd do the tube, and when it lay down, I'd throw the spy bait.
Pretty simple 1-2 punch.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I fished the conditions.
Yes.
I knew the area had them, but if it's like this, I could catch them on the spy bait. But once that wind picked up, I don't know why they wouldn't bite it, but they just wouldn't bite it. I don't know if it probably broke up the surface enough where when they're looking up, they couldn't really see it because of the, you know, the way the light's coming penetrating through, and when it's slick, they could see it, you know, from looking up because they're on the bottom. So that's the only thing I could figure out. But man, when it calmed down, I caught a 5 and a 4.5 on a tube, and I told my camera guy, I said, "You might think I'm crazy, but I'm putting this tube down because I want to catch some big ones." And he's like, "You just did." And I go, "No, I mean we've got it because I'm fishing the conditions," and it was about like it is right now, and it was pretty cool. I mean, it was awesome.
It was, because you said it on like day 1 or 2 that you feel like you're ahead of the fish. And for me watching you or anyone that watched it live, you know, you'd get moments like now it'd be kind of slick, but then the breeze might pick up for a little bit.
Yep.
And it was really cool to watch how you'd put that spy bait down, pick the tube up when the breeze came, you know, or vice versa, drop it. And like you said, you'd go along, it might go 40 minutes without catching one, and then you make that switch in your technique or presentation, and all of a sudden, boom,
flurry.
You'd catch a couple and then kind of die off, and the conditions would change again. And so it was a super cool tournament to watch from an execution standpoint because you did it so flawlessly.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's a lot more fun when you know what they're doing or what you need to do and out here it changes hourly, because we may have a 20-mile-an-hour south wind in here in 20 minutes. But right now it's beautiful, but there could be a thunderstorm move in. And it just switches direction. It does all kinds of stuff. It's, you know, it's a crazy place, but man, when you get it dialed in, and the area, obviously the area is a good, you know, a part of it, but there was other guys down there right in my area. So, you know. Okay. Action. And I just caught a muskie. Oh, it's a drum.
Oh, it's a drum.
Big old drum. God, he swallowed it too, didn't he? You never know what you're going to catch out here.
You really don't.
I caught 2 muskie. I caught 6 walleye. I've caught 5 of these. What else did I catch?
Catfish?
Perch. No, I never caught any catfish. I've heard of guys catching them.
I saw a couple get pulled in the boat.
I caught 3 of these the first day of the first morning of the tournament before I caught a bass. I left that area. Come here, old Mr. Drummer boy. Could have done without that. He said, ow. They're usually a little nicer than that. Can you believe the weights we had this week?
Dude. So, well, coming into it, I figured be some post-spawn fish, right? Like they might weigh a little lighter potentially, but there's also, I mean, it's a huge lake, so there could have been some. I was thinking like 85, 88, something kind of like that.
I was thinking 22 or 23 a day would probably be.
Yeah, I figured on day 1 and 2 we'd probably see like a 25-pound bag or, you know, a couple the mid 20-pound bags. Nothing like we had this. I did not expect remotely any of that.
Yeah, I've been fishing up here for 25 years, and I don't ever remember a tournament. And I don't know if it was the timing that we hit it or the good weather, because the weather does play a factor in the weights, because if you can't run around or if you can't get to your spot, or it takes you, say it takes you an hour and a half to get to a spot that would normally take you 30 minutes. You don't have as much fishing time, so they don't catch as many fish. But we had great conditions was one thing. But I don't know if it was because of that or just the fishery is that good right now.
Right.
That I think it's a combination of both. I think it is really good right now, because I've never seen weights that consistent for you know, for 4 days.
Yeah.
But you know, you're right. You would see a few the first day and then maybe tail off, but they actually got better.
Yeah,
a lot of guys went up every day. So it was just, how many 20-pound stringers the first day? Like 30?
I think there was like 30, 31.
Like,
I mean, guys were weighing in 18, 19 pounds and basically getting just shoot off stage.
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah, you're
please.
in 65th
yeah,
place.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Don't bring.
Oh,
that
you only
across.
had 18 pounds. You're in 69th.
The craziest part to me was that bag line towards the end of weighing. You know how everyone, you start hearing what people are weighing in and all that stuff.
Yep.
Well, like I'd walk down the line and just check with pros. Hey man, how'd you do? I only got 18 and a half. Oh, I got 19 and a half. Like I've never seen so many people so depressed about having such a good bag of fish in my life.
Yeah, I told you the same thing. I was not very happy on day 3 when I had 21 pounds. It's like, I thought I blew it, actually, is what it was. But this, I just think it's in really good shape, and there's a lot of numbers and a lot of big fish. So it's pretty impressive to see.
Definitely. They weren't biting in 16 feet, so we ran about 8 miles to find a depth change. But I suppose like maybe they're biting up shallow, right? Probably.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, he flicked off my cricket. Look at this.
There's no way.
I think one of the bass you caught this week just spawned us off. Oh, dude, we are dialed. I'm gonna just throw this one back while no one's looking.
Make sure no one's looking.
Because, dude.
That's a nice one.
Look what you have done here.
God, they're
Well,
strong.
don't worry, that 9-incher didn't have any buddies with him, so. Dude, heck yeah, come on up here, smallmouth.
Come on, join the party. Everybody else is.
Man, I think that right there is a good way to end this week.
I'll take it.
I mean, it's no 6-pounder, but
They
that's
can't
just
all
a
be
good
6-pound.
smallmouth out here on St. Clair. It's actually a little one for, for St. Clair.
The ones we've been catching.
But dude, you had an amazing week, fantastic end of the season. Not only did you get the big check, you got another title. You also are going to the Forest League Cup
Yep.
because of it. So really, just all kinds of good things. Now you get the 4th of July, you get to go hang out with the family now.
We're going to the cabin.
Dude, go catch some more fish.
All right, man.
I think with that, let's get out of here because it looks like it's fixing to rain.
I know.